So let's talk about some of the alternative strategies that you can pursue if you're going to be impacted by this change with lead disputes, and how you can keep your revenue, look at other advertising channels, and ultimately take this challenge and turn it into an opportunity. So LSA is a big piece of marketing. It's been a big, powerful help for a lot of law firms, but don't forget about what I would call the fundamentals of advertising, or the components that have been around for a long time. Because I think what the biggest change around this that we're adopting for our clients is we're moving them back to pay-per-click in terms of using a majority of budget over there. When we start a new campaign on the advertising side, we often will do both pay-per-click and LSAs, because there is nuance related to practice area. All of those things will change the lead cost. And so some people get great returns with LSAs. Other people, it's absolutely horrible. So we typically will put those back against each other to test them and see where you're getting the lowest cost per lead, so that the efficiency of your investment is very good. So one thing we're mostly focused on is moving people back in terms of their budget to pay-per-click. And we like this because it's it basically is a buffer against lazy people. So more people are using LSAs because it's super fast, it's super quick. There's really low barrier of entry, and it doesn't require any skill. If you're getting charged a lot of money for someone to manage your LSAs, you're absolutely getting screwed, because there's really just not much in there that you can do. And that's really the whole point, was to take actual pay-per-click strategists out of the equation, so that this was, kind of directly accessible by business owners, kind of like ads for the people. And so that puts you all on a equal path, right? There's some very minor things that, depending on who you believe, will impact this, but if you count and some other things like that. But ultimately, it's not something that you can really turn to scale. You don't have control over the scalability of it, because we have clients where we're putting in $1,000 as a weekly budget, or $2,000, and we're just not getting leads, and we have no control over that. We're not hitting anywhere close to our budget, but for some reason Google's giving other people the leads. And based on our discussions, with Google, with their local service advertising department, we get the sense that basically every quarter they kind of reshuffle the deck. They get people who maybe haven't had as many leads, prioritize them, try to kind of rotate things around to keep everybody happy. And so if you've ever had your LSAs just completely drop off after a period where you're like, I'm on fire, this is amazing, that's probably why. That's probably what happened. So with PPC, it does not have those restrictions. You are in much more firm control over, the scale that you pursue, but also the design of the campaigns. So early on, when you could dispute leads and there weren't that many people, the quality of the lead for LSA was really good. It was good, high intent people who needed your type of service. And then as time has gone on, it's gotten more and more diluted. With pay-per-click, you can actually control for a lot of that. So when we start a campaign, we're going to do a lot of negative keyword targeting, where we're putting in just an enormous amount of keywords that we don't want to be found for. So it could be pro bono, affordable, cheap. It could be other lawyer names. It could be unrelated queries. By doing that, you're going to cut out an enormous amount of junk that would otherwise kind of slide in to an LSA. So you're able to really drill down with laser specificity the type of search that you're willing to pay for. And so when you do that and focus on those high intent keywords, you get a much higher quality of lead. And it's that type of extra planning that most people aren't going to do, or they require an agency to do it. And so, and I think in a number of ways, by going with pay-per-click, it's going to give you more of a moat, a competitive moat around your other customers. So In addition to that, the price advantage of LSA I don't think is as big anymore. And so we're seeing, in a lot of situations, good, equal, or better rates with pay-per-click, because I think there's been a bit of an exodus away from, people with pay-per-click, because they're like, well, why am I paying your agency fee when I can just go do LSA? And so I think what you're seeing right now is, probably a shift back in the other direction. So this is an opportunity, in my opinion, to shift away and have more control and ultimately get a better quality of lead than probably what you've been getting with LSA.